Hello and welcome to today's live. So happy you are tuning in. If you're new here, hi, I'm Madison. I am a medium and Akashic Records reader. I am a Reiki master, and right now I am doing an ascension teaching workshop 31-day challenge where I am taking you guys through 31 different modalities that really allowed me to step into my higher calling and my higher purpose. So let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about spirit guides. I am going to be telling you guys about my experience working with spirit guides. We're going to talk about who is on our spirit team, what does that even look like, and then we are going to talk about the different types of spirit guides that are around us all the time, or different types of spirit guides that are really here to sort of help us along the process. I personally believe that every single person has spirit guides around them at all times. We all have different spirit guides that are kind of coming in and out. I believe we have some that are assigned since birth, and some that kind of come into our lives after they pass, in terms of like past loved ones that are on our angel team. So we're going to talk about all of that today, but first I'm going to do a card pull. So I've been pulling from this deck from the past couple lives, and it is the Spiritual AF deck. And it's funny because it's very much a deck where if you like sassy readings or like really honest readings or messages, it's great. Love this. Okay, so I pulled this one several times, so clearly I need the message, okay? Thou shalt not judge because thou has fucked up before too. That is so true. One really big lesson I've learned in my spiritual journey is never to judge people, because I used to be somebody who was very judgmental. I had an opinion about what everybody was up to as if it was any of my business. And a lot of times what happened to me is the things I had judged people for, I ended up being or experiencing later on, and then being like, oh wow, I really shouldn't have judged that person for being in that situation. But I love the concept that you should never judge people for the situation they're in, because you don't know what options they had to choose from. And I think that's so true, because we've all gotten into bad situations and then been like, well, but here, this is how it happened. But then whenever other people end up in that situation, we're not willing to give them that same grace. So, okay, when you see yourself thinking someone's a real asshole, take a moment and contemplate all the times you've done exactly what they're doing. Maybe it was a different flavor of assholeness, but it was still assholey. Check yourself. People will like you more. Most importantly, you'll like you more too. Aw. So that's kind of how the messages for this deck are, which I personally love. Okay, let's get into talking about spirit guides. So first I want to talk about who all is on our spirit team. So I believe we all have at least 3 types of spirit guides around us. Not to say there's only 3 spirit guides around you. Most people I think have a lot more than that, but I believe they kind of fall into one of 3 categories. So different types of spirit guides that are around us. We have our ascended masters, we have our teachers, and we have our loved ones. So ascended masters are going to be beings like Jesus and Buddha. So ascended masters are going to be souls that incarnated into earth to teach us how to live fundamentally differently. And I want to clarify, these ascended masters did not come to teach us a religion or anything like that. They came to teach us ways to live fundamentally different. So for example, if you look into the teachings of Buddha, Buddha is an ascended master in the term that he came here to teach humans how to live fundamentally differently. He was one of the big thought leaders around the concept that we're living in a matrix and a simulation, and our thoughts dictate our reality, and we are literally able to recreate a new or different reality if we don't like the one that we're currently in, through meditation, through visualization, through projecting different circumstances or realities into our current reality. There are so many different teachings that ascended masters have come to teach us. So anybody who pretty much they created a religion around is generally going to be an ascended master. But I want to clarify that none of those ascended masters came here to have religions created around them. They came here to teach us how to live fundamentally differently. Same thing with Jesus. Did not come here to create a religion. a lot of people in the spiritual community refer to Jesus as metaphysical Jesus, meaning that Jesus came here to teach us how metaphysics works. And here's what I mean by that. Jesus was known to be a healer, that he could touch people and heal them. That is like Reiki on steroids, right? Like in Reiki now, or traditional energy work as we know it in 2025, a lot of it is based on being able to heal mental, physical, through the release of energy and the replacement of new energy. But Jesus, as a metaphysical healer, was able to do that on such a high level that he didn't have to go through the process of connecting to Reiki energy and scanning the chakras and pulling out energy and putting in new energy. He could literally just touch and heal, right? The concept of that is crazy. So I believe we all have at least one ascended master that's on our spirit team. And if you identify with the teachings of a specific ascended master, that's more than likely who the ascended master is that resonates with you. I resonate a lot with Jesus and Buddha for the concept of meditation and learning to create your own reality and being able to heal through metaphysics rather than through just traditional means in Western medicine. And I think that's a big shift we're going through right now. People are seeing that, oh, we've had all these Western medicine practices, people have been going to all these different doctors, nothing's really, gotten better for them. And then now people are like, well, I guess I'll give this metaphysical or holistic healing a try. And people are seeing incredible results. And a big reason I think that is because in the Western society, there's a lot of, oh, you have an issue here, take a pill. We're not addressing the root cause. And by doing things like Reiki healing, energy work, working in your Akashic record, you're getting to the root cause of why you are feeling or experiencing or continuing in that loop of some of the different things in your life. Hello, hello. See you guys in the chat, K-Lover. So good to see you. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Okay, so that is a little bit about Ascended Masters. So we all have Ascended Masters on our teams. We all also have teachers on our teams. Teachers are going to be normally people that would fall in, or beings that would fall into like the Archangel category, right? There's so many different Archangels that are also here to help us and to be on our spirit team. And a lot of times the Archangels fall under the teachers because they are here to show us guidance. They are here to show us the right way. They're here to give us signs. They're here to maybe show us how we keep ending up in the same situation because we keep making the same decisions instead of choosing to, do things differently and not end up in the same situation. And that is going to be sort of more the teacher category, is really the angelic beings that are on our team that are like, hey, let us show you that you keep making the same mistake over and over again, and then let us show you how to fix it, right? So that's a huge, huge thing within the teachers. So we all have Ascended Masters that are teaching us how to live fundamentally differently. We all have teachers that are kind of guiding us in our steps and in our process. And then the third type of spirit guide that I believe is around us all the time is past loved ones. So if you guys are new here, I'm a medium. I have been a medium since I was a kid. So it's very weird growing up with gifts, like looking back, because whenever I grew up as a medium, I was always connecting with spirits. I was always having spirits that would come see me. I thought it was normal. I thought everybody else's reality was like that as well. But then I remember probably being like maybe 8 years old and my mom having to kind of explain to me that like not everybody is having these spiritual encounters and not everybody else is communicating with ghosts or, spirits or different things like that. And I was shocked by this information. And so I went through every phase of having spiritual gifts, from thinking that it was really cool when I was younger to wanting them to go away when I got older and realized a lot of people don't like spiritual gifts, to struggling with addiction to try to get my gifts to kind of go away, and then now fully stepping into my gifts and fully embracing them. So I've been through like every stage of having spiritual gifts. But whenever I first started doing spiritual work, I specifically was trying to figure out why I was a medium. What the heck did I have this ability for? What was I supposed to do with it? Why? All the things, right? So if you guys haven't heard my story of how I found the Akashic Records, I found the Akashic Records because I was looking for my soul purpose. I, at the time, was working in the corporate America world. I had a corporate job. I was climbing the ladder. I was doing all the things. And I had all the things that the world told you you had to be happy and to be successful. But I had all of those things and I wasn't happy. So I was like, maybe I need to do something differently. So I heard about this thing called the Akashic Records, where you could tap in and you could figure out your soul's purpose. So I go into the Akashic Records and I do a lot of like trainings and classes and workshops to figure out how to get in, right? So I learned how to access my Akashic Record. I go in and I'm just like, hello, I want to know why I'm a medium and what I'm supposed to do with these gifts. And I really felt like I didn't get an answer back. And I was like, that's weird. Like, maybe I didn't like understand how to get in right. I don't know. So a couple days later, I'm at a spiritual retreat and I have this moment where my dad, who's one of my spirit guides on my kind of past loved ones team, brought to me, I had this random roommate, and my dad brought to me her parents who had both passed, and they both had a message for her. And so I don't know this girl at all, right? Now we're like the best of friends. But at the time, it was just this girl that I had like friended on Instagram and known for like, I don't know, 6 hours. And her parents are like coming to me with a message for her. And I was like, that's crazy. I'm not going to tell her, right? So they kept coming back every single day. Like, did you give her the message? And I kept being like, you know, I didn't give her the message. So eventually on the last day of the retreat, I'm like, hey, I have something kind of wild to tell you. I am a medium and both your parents came to me with messages for you and here's what they are. So I tell her this message and I fully think she's gonna think that I am crazy, right? And instead she's like, you have no idea how long I've been trying to get the answers that they sent to you. And so basically she had been like praying, asking the universe, whatever you want to call it, to get answers on a few specific things from her parents. They both died when she was pretty young, and now she's in adulthood with 0 parents, right? And she had all these kind of questions about, you know, what they might think about what she's up to now, guidance, direction, all these things, right? So I'm telling her like this download that came through from her parents, and then I find out basically she had been wanting to get this information or like asking for this information. So all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, is this my Akashic Records answer? Like, is the reason I have these gifts because I'm supposed to use them to do readings for others or connect people with maybe questions or things that they have that are related to their pain or their grief or what? So I'm not really sure what to do, but then it just starts happening, right? And then I start to have all these experiences where people that are around me, their past loved ones are coming to me with messages for them. I'm giving them the messages, allowing them to like clear grief and pain and guilt and all these things that I didn't know they were dealing with. So eventually it becomes very clear I'm supposed to start doing medium readings and Akashic Records readings. And whenever I first started doing readings, you guys, I did so many free readings because I kept thinking like, I'm gonna find somebody and like nothing's gonna come through, my gifts aren't gonna work, and you know, whatever, right? We have all these limiting beliefs. So I started to do a lot of just like free readings with strangers just to make sure like my gifts worked, if that makes sense. And I started to see like, oh, I literally have these gifts because I'm supposed to use them to help other people get answers or clear gifts or whatever that looks like. Hello, everybody in the chat. Connor, hello. Oreo Cake, hello. Nate, hello, and bye. Thank you guys for tuning in. Okay, so from there, I am in a place where I had started doing medium and Akashic Records readings. Oh, and I'd also started doing Reiki at this point as well. And so I was largely working like metaphysical fairs and events, doing readings, and after I did a couple fairs, I had noticed that there was a trend of quite a few people that were like, hey, I'm pretty sure I can do what you can do. I just don't really know how to like do it on demand, if that makes sense. So a lot of people who have spiritual gifts, they have the spiritual gift of maybe they can tap into the Akashic Record sometimes, maybe they get download sometimes, but they don't really know how to like connect on demand, if that makes sense, or be able to call in guides. It's more of a, it happens, they don't really have any control of it, which is very much how my experience was at the beginning before I learned how to channel and tap into the Akashic Records. So I started having people be like, hey, I think I can do what you do. I get visited by my spirit guides, but I don't really know how. And that led to my mentorship program. So I started Akashic Records class. I started teaching Reiki. I started mediumship mentoring, where I actually teach people how to channel and how to connect with their spirit guides. And it's one of the most fun things that I've truly ever had the honor and privilege of being able to do, is being able to teach people how to access and communicate with their own spirit guides, how to access and communicate with their own Akashic Records and their own Akashic guide. That's another person that's on your spirit team. So we all have an Akashic guide that's on our team. So everybody has an Akashic Record. And if you've never heard of Akashic Records, it is essentially your soul's library. So it is being able to tap into like the fifth or sixth dimension through channeled meditation, be able to connect with an Akashic guide and get answers to things like, what's my soul purpose, what past life things are holding me back, where am I struggling, or where do I have emotional blocks that are keeping me from moving forward. You can even do things like tap into your business's Akashic record. And now I teach people how to do all this, right? Like, I still do readings, but I do a lot around classes and teaching people how to access their Akashic record and their business Akashic record as well. And so we all have an Akashic guide. So, for example, on my spirit team, I have Ascended Masters I work with, I have teachers, I have past loved ones, and I have an Akashic guide. And a lot of people don't know who their Akashic guide is until they actually go into the records. So my Akashic guide is a guide that is specific to the Akashic records. So, for example, if I am asking somebody on my spirit team for help or guidance or advice, that's going to be a different angelic being than the angelic being I'm working with in the Akashic records. So every time I go into the Akashic records, I work with a specific Akashic records being. And it is just an angelic being that is helping me to get answers on things like where my past lives might be affecting my current real life, things like what blockages may be holding me back, things like what I need to be doing in business. It's maybe a little bit different than what I'm currently doing. All of this is available in the Akashic records. And so once I learned, like, oh, we all have all of these spirit guides on our team. We all have all these people who genuinely want to help us and who genuinely want to see us succeed. It really changed my entire life, because I was like, oh wait, whenever I'm struggling or feeling alone or needing guidance, I can literally go to my spirit team, into the Akashic records. I can channel an Ascended Master. Like, being able to learn all these things changed my life dramatically. And now I'm just so passionate about teaching you guys this, because so much of traditional religion teaches us that God is outside of us, or that we have to pray or hope God loves us enough, or hope we did good things enough, or whatever. And spirituality is all about knowing that you are a fragment of God or source energy, and that you can learn how to channel, learn how to do energy work, learn how to access your Akashic records, learn how to communicate with your spirit guides. All of those things are incredibly possible, and you don't have to have previous experience in these things. I work with a lot of people who are very drawn to the spiritual world that have never had spiritual gifts, and they come and they do an Akashic records class with me, and all of a sudden they have access to abilities they never knew existed before. So I really want to say that, like, there is no limit to what you can do in terms of like energy work and Akashic records, because all of those things are very innate abilities we all have. Most of the time we just get so caught up in the matrix and in the 3D world that we don't even realize we have those gifts or abilities anymore, much less how to use them or how to tap into them or how to hone on them. So if any of this interests you, I would love to have you follow along to my page. I am currently doing 31 Days to Spiritual Awakening, where every day I'm talking about a different topic. I'm going to be going live every day at 11:11 and talking about a different topic in terms of things that helped me in my spiritual awakening, different spiritual modalities that I use, how to work with crystals, how to channel, the Akashic records, tarot, oracle, Reiki, all the things. So if that is up your alley, I would love to have you follow along for these daily lives for the next 31 days. I think this is maybe day 5, so we've still got another 25 days, and anything, if you have missed it, you can go back to my live videos and you can see everything that I talked about in these live videos and in these live recordings. So other things I wanted to tell you guys about, I am going to be linking my website in the show notes. So if you want to book a reading or a class with me, everything is available in person and online. So I do have a location for a holistic awakening that is in downtown Greensboro, North Carolina. But if you are virtual and you still want access to the same resources, everything that I offer can also be done virtually via Zoom from anywhere in the world. So if you would like to book a reading or a class with me, you'll be able to find the link in the show notes or on my bio, and that will take you to all of my offerings. I have one other thing I wanted to tell you guys about before we close out, and that is the Sedona retreat. So we do have one spot left for our Sedona retreat in September. It is a spiritual activation retreat. We are going to be doing energy work in vortexes. We are going to be doing cacao ceremonies. ceremonies. We're going to be doing Akashic meditations. We're going to be doing higher self work. We're going to do horseback riding. So it's going to be a really cool mix of spiritual activities and fun activities. So pretty much every day we have something fun like a trip to the Grand Canyon or horseback riding. And then also every day we have something like an Akashic meditation or energy work in a vortex or a cacao ceremony. So really, really great atmosphere for connecting with like-minded spiritual women and really being able to immerse yourself in just 6 days of disconnection and 6 days of just being able to really tap into your spiritual gifts a little bit more. So if you have been wanting to do a spiritual or holistic metaphysical type retreat, this is definitely an amazing offering. If you're not familiar with Sedona, Sedona is known for its sacred sites. We are going to be doing a hike at Cathedral Rock, which is one of the most spiritual sacred sites in all of America. And then we are also going to be doing energy work in a vortex. And that is actually how my spiritual awakening started. So I really just wanted to be able to create this experience for other people who might be looking for a similar experience or a similar kind of launching point for their spiritual awakening, their spiritual gifts, tapping into their future spiritual business, whatever it is you feel called to do. So if that aligns with you, you can find all of that information in the show notes and in my bio as well. I will see you guys tomorrow for the next live. I will be live tomorrow at 11:11, and we will be talking about past life regressions. So if learning about past lives or past life regressions is interesting for you, feel free to join me then.